presence, mostly on Facebook anyway, would expect me to be using this and this and this to make fire. I'm taking a break tonight because I actually have a special treat, at least for me. But here, I sent, as far as my Tinder challenge that you can look back on YouTube, sending unfamiliar Tinders across the country to people who don't have those particular ones, to Jason Keeton on Facebook. Anyway, he said that he was going to send me something special, and this is unopened. I don't know what it is. I have a fair idea because he makes first aid kits, and I am on a limited time schedule here because my kids are just about ready to go to bed. But so this is going to be kind of rushed, but hopefully it'll be thorough enough to do the job. But so, not knowing what's in here, and from Jason Keeton, some sort of package. So let's open this up. Gotta use the stocking wool. It's pretty nice how slick they go through there. And before I get into it, let me readjust the camera and we'll be back. Alright guys. Well, I apologize for the switch in venue here. My camera crapped out on me, so I just switched back to my phone. It's actually the day after. I've already seen the contents of this. However, you know, it was an opening video, a package opening video. Nothing like the moment you spend an hour, hour and a half editing a video, only to have to realize that once you get to the main part that, hey, you gotta redo it. So, let's go ahead and redo this, revisit it quickly. Hit all the high points that I made in my original video that I actually didn't record. One thing I'm really impressed with is Jason, with Bushcraft First Aid Kits by Jason, is the guy has an excellent shipping invoice. It lists the contents. It's got a good logo on it. I mean, it looks professional. It's not a fly-by-night thing at all. I've ordered several things off of folks on Facebook, and this is actually the first invoice I've received. And no, that's not a Band-Aid I got through Jason's First Aid Kit. This is one that was in the general first aid box in my house. And the owie in question here, yes, that was from a knife. From an STKR Shaman. I was being stupid, and it got me. Alright, try to go in the order I went in last night. Alright, in the bag, this bag, it comes with two 5x9 absorbent pads, which, I mean, it's pretty obvious, you know, like I said last night in my video, or the night before, when I was originally recording. I am in the medical industry. I am not a medical type person. I'm in IT, so, however, I've taken many a course in patching people up, so it'd be good for extraneous bleeds and stuff like that. You know, Heather Wolf could probably, you know, expound on the less obvious uses of that. This comes with several different sizes of Band-Aids. It looks like 4 of 1 inch, I believe they're called. I think they go by the width. The pad is 1 inch wide, looks like 1.5 inch wide, something like that, by about 2 inches, something like that. 4 of those. And then, I counted the other night, I'm guessing around 20 of just regular size, standard Band-Aids, about that size, which are, you know, quite frankly, at least for me, the ones I'm going to use the most. Well, both in the home and around the home, as well as in the woods. So that's a definite plus. I can honestly say I have not come across any store-bought kit that has had that number of the ones you'd use the most. I mean, seriously. I mean, for those of us who have bought or even looked at kits that you buy in the store, you know, they may boast, you know, 32 bandages, but, you know, it's 32 bandages of various sizes, and probably 20 of them are sizes you won't even use. And all of those are sizes you will use. At least I would, given I'm a klutz. Alright, these are 2x2 inch gauze pads. Good for spot, for injuries and spots that you can't count on one of these band-aids to cover. These will do it as long as they're, you know, relatively minor. 3 2x2s. You have the gloves. I believe I counted the other night that I believe there's 3 pairs of latex-free gloves in here. At least these look to be latex-free. These are the same color, same feel as what we use at work. You know, there's no label on this package, so I can't say unequivocally, but it looks to be and feels to be latex-free. You have one roll of 3-inch by 4-yard gauze, which is good for, you know, you slice your arm, you want to wrap it around. Works great for that. Well, what else can you say? Not much for a splint, but or for padding for a splint, but you know, it'll get the job done as far as bleed goes. One thing I love is that this is, I mean, he has it labeled a mini first aid kit, yet he had the foresight to put a pupil dilator in here. You know, that is one of the most dangerous, at least in my opinion. A concussion is one of the most dangerous injuries in the woods, and especially I've got 3 little kids that usually follow me around in the woods. You know, they're accident prone just like their father. And you know, it will be a comfort to me to know that I have this here when we're, you know, 2 miles away from home, because we're surrounded by woods, and you know, if we're 2 miles away from home and one of them falls like they always do, and like their daddy usually does, hits their head, you know, I have a way to check to see how serious it is. Now, you know, they've never hit their head before. It's never had a serious injury that far away from the house, but you know, it's a comfort to me. You have all sorts of different meds in here. You know, you have your Tylenol, you have your Advil. Well, that's it. I take that back. It's not all sorts of different meds. You have 1 dose of Tylenol, 1 dose of Advil. You have a couple steri strips or butterfly bandages, just depending on how you want to call it. And it looks like 10 alcohol prep pads or alcohol swabs, which are excellent for disinfecting an area. Another thing I'm stoked about is a set of tweezers, which you usually, at least I don't usually see in store-bought kits, as I have never bought a store-bought kit in my life. I've been tempted a few times. Now, actually, I take that back. I have bought 2, but I bought them for the container they were in. That was it. I didn't buy it for the contents. But anyway, there are a pair of tweezers, and they're fine, but yet not. They're fine pointed, but yet not, you know, sharp. They're plastic, so you know, you can dig in, but they're not going to cut the skin when you're going after a splinter or, you know, some other debris. In other words, you're not going to make the wound worse. Which that I dig. And the last item, if I can get this back in here, the last item he sent in the bag is a cold compression pack, which Heather demonstrated in Justin's video, or Guerrero's video, how to use. It's pretty self-explanatory. But, hey buddy. What's up, guy? Pardon me, I'm having to be dad right now, which is cool. I like it. This is father-son night. What's up, buddy? You wanna watch Woohoo? Okay. Be right back, fellas. Now that I've outlined all of this, it's a good kit. It really is. He's got it labeled as a mini bushcraft kit. Maybe you switch the order of those words, but whatever. And I'm going to add a few critiques here. This is just how I would use it. This isn't a criticism on how he designs his kits, because we are on completely opposite coasts, and so there's different laws, different locales. You know, even the local populace has different customs and habits. So let's push this aside. This is all great. That's all stuff, honestly, that I currently, aside from this, the ice pack, that's all stuff I currently carry with me anyway. Now, Jason, don't take this as a criticism, my brother, but this is stuff I would suggest we add, possibly. This is one thing I keep in my kit, or actually pretty much all my kits. There's a few that don't have them, but for the most part. This is a Ashman chest seal. I live in hunting country, and there may legally be hunting seasons around here. Technically there's not. If I'm in the woods, I'm going to count on someone else being there and someone else mistaking me and or my child for a deer or some other critter that they feel that needs to be in their freezer. So the Ashman chest seal is good to help a decompressed lung. You know, it's far-fetched. Yeah, I have been trained to use them, but you know, hopefully I'll never have to. This is a TK4 tourniquet. Again, it has to do with the gunshot wound. You know, there's a far greater chance of me or my children or my wife, when she comes out with us, getting hit in a limb or in an area that needs extreme compression to stop the bleeding. Whether it needs to be used as a tourniquet or as a compression device, you know, it's neither here nor there. These things work great. I would add one of these to the kit. I would also add one of these. This is just a mini Sharpie. That way, when you add gauze or any kind of bandage, you can put the time and the date that it was put on there, just in case you know, whoever you're treating gets handed off to somebody else, and that way they know how long it's been put on there. This is my demonstration bandage, so it's already open, but this is a H bandage. It's very similar to an Israeli bandage, basically the same size. I think this works a little bit better. I'm not going to demonstrate how to use it now, but it's very, very, very similar in how it's used to an Israeli, but I think it has a few pluses. Anyway, this is, I mean, all things considered, when this package is compressed, when the air is taken out, it is not really going to add any size to the kit that Jason's provided. So this will take a lot more heavy bleeding duty than anything that he provided, which again, this is not a criticism. This is just precautions I take in the locale that I live in. One major misstep that I see with this kit, and this is the one of two criticisms. There is no medical tape in this kit. He provides gauze, but there's no tape. There's no way to hold it on. Aside from just using some of the band-aids to tape around the edges, and we all know band-aids, except for the really expensive ones, don't hold for anything over, you know, through humid environments, or if you get wet or sweat or anything like that. The other one, which I didn't bring, the other criticism that I didn't bring to the table here to show, are needles. The #1 Bushcraft First Aid issue that I come in contact with are splinters. And needles are the easiest and least damaging way to get them out. Those plastic pliers would be great, but usually the head of the splinter is, you know, at least a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch below the puncture point, and you have to open that wound up just a little bit to get down in there with tweezers to to get the splinter out. That is this and the needles are my only two criticisms with this mini bushcraft kit. Aside from that, this kit's hitting the woods. I'm adding those things to this kit, and this kit's hitting the woods with me because honestly, aside from the things that I've outlined here, it is far more comprehensive as far as the numbers of band-aids, especially this. I never thought of it. In fact, having him the ice pack brought to my attention, I'll probably add a couple heating pads to this too. So there we have it. That is Joe's review, or PM05, Appointment of 5 review of Jason Keeton's Bushcraft Kits by Jason. And Jason, again, thank you very much for this gift, my brother. I do appreciate it, and please don't take my criticisms to heart. They are suggestions, and again, like I said before, they are strictly based on my locale, especially the gunshot wound based items. They're strictly based on my locale and my klutziness. So I would highly suggest people buy these, unless you want to have lots of extras. If you want to have lots of extras, go out and spend 3 times as much and you know, build yourself 3 or 4 kits. So there you go. Thanks guys, have a good evening.